Hey, welcome to this special episode of the Baron Earl Show. This is going to be an update episode, basically letting you guys know everything that has been going on with almost 100 guests or something we've had now. Definitely well over 50. So let's kick things off with news from our comic legends that we've had on. We actually have some breaking news I noticed over on Microsoft News. Legendary Iron Man artist Bob Layton asked for help with stolen artwork a couple days ago. See, I'll just read it here since I told you where it's from. Legendary Iron Man artist Bob Layton is asking for help of comic book fandom after 5 recently commissioned sketch covers that he drew were stolen during transit. Layton is hoping that fans can keep an eye out on the secondary market, like auction sites and comic book stores, to see if these 5 covers find their way onto the market. 2 weeks ago, I shipped out 5 completed sketch covers from Korea to my CGC rep in the States, along with some of my comic page art. The page art made it to my agent, but the 5 sketch covers were gone. Apparently, someone at the FedEx International Inspection Station opened the package and removed the comic protector, with completed 5 sketch covers going to CGC. After 2 weeks, no one has been able to find the comic protector, and FedEx has declared them officially missing. Apparently, this happened at the Memphis, Tennessee International Inspection Station. So, if anybody sees that on the extra market, if anybody sees that on the secondary markets, definitely let people know. Reach out to him. Reach out to CGC, whoever. The other news that is extremely recent is for most people have noticed that Larrry Hama, who's been involved with the G.I. Joe Omnibus, which I think if it has not hit $4 million on Kickstarter, it will probably do that before that crowdfunding ends, and that will actually be the biggest comic Kickstarter to my knowledge of this year. That's maybe a different story with Indiegogo and other places. But anyways, that was actually going to be the news that we were going to talk about for those who did not know and or are very big G.I. Joe fans or collectors. But he actually had recently announced that his health issues that he's been having recently are probably not going to let him draw anymore. I'm guessing, I'm speculating here, I'm guessing maybe, like me, he's going to be able to use dictation for the writing part for anything that he needs to do. But he is not going to be able to draw, in his opinion, for the next few years. And he is also speculating that this will probably be true for the rest of his life. Hopefully not. We'll definitely keep him in our prayers and hope for the best. But he has definitely been going through a lot, and our prayers are with him. Now, if you're like my daughter and you're a fan of the Loki TV show, and I know a lot of people who, while they may not like a lot of things that Marvel has been doing or that the MCU and Disney have done more recently, they are big fans of the Loki TV show, and they think it's really well done. Recently, one of our favorite guests, and his wife, although this is more about him, Walt Simonson, was in the news recently, just with a little post he did about stuff that he came across. If you do not follow Walt Simonson on social media, especially trying to think, I think he's most active on Instagram, it seems like, but he posts some really cool stuff that he comes across with all the different old things that he has. And anyways, he recently came across this old picture that he had of Mark Grunwald, he had posted this thing, as picture that he had taken of Mark Grunwald posing as a member of the Time Variance Authority, which is a big part of the Loki storyline. And Mark, let's see, as I said, I'll just read it from Walt's post. Yes, and this is on Instagram. I originally created the Time Variance Authority as something of a satire of Marvel Comics, which was becoming more corporate at the time. Part of the story structure was that we never saw any top-level executives. The employers I showed, the time monitors, were faceless. The employers I showed, the time monitors, were faceless. One middle-level functionary was an active character in the story, Mr. Mobius. I asked the late Mark Grunwald to pose for me as a model for the bureaucrat who put a face on the TVA. Mark, my original editor on Thor, and the guy who gave me the gig in the first place, enthusiastically embraced the gag. He said he shot a roll or two of film, and this was the pre-digital days, and it worked out great. I shot a variety of angles, and Mark mugged for me as requested. The photos have just turned up again as we continue to unpack from our move. Thanks, pal. Good to see you again. Now, another one of our favorites was Carl Potts, and everybody who watched our interview with him knows that I'm a very big Alien Legion fan, like a lot of people, honestly. Anyways, so there has been, when we talked to Carl, he did say that there were some things being discussed, and he wasn't able to talk a lot about it now. But for those who have not heard, it is official that there is a Alien Legion adaptation in the routes that is supposed to be heading to the big screen. Me personally, I kind of wish, since it's a military thing, and a lot of it is about the team, the soldiers. I kind of wish it was a TV show. Obviously, more of a big budget TV show, but anyways, I kind of wish it was that. But it looks like it's going to be heading to the big screen. If you're looking for the most recent news around Alien Legion, it's going to be on Collider and some places like that. I'm trying to see. Yeah, it was Collider. I think it's the most recent place. Anyways, they talked to Deadpool's Tim Miller about him returning to his comic book roots with the Alien Legion adaptation. Most people know that Tim Miller was the guy who directed Deadpool. Anyways, he is the one that is signed on to be the director for Alien Legion. Another one of our guests that a lot of people love, and including us, is Mike Grell. And he is known for a bunch of different things. One of the things that I really fell in love with was Jon Sable Freelance, because it was just so different, had a lot of sketching in it and things similar to what he ended up doing with the Green Arrow longbow hunters, and using pencils and colored pencils and just all kinds of different techniques that you were just not seeing in a lot of other comics. And I really loved that, and I loved the mix of different aspects of it, with him kind of being a hunter, but also sort of a James Bond kind of character. But it's just very, very cool. Anyways, there was, as he mentioned in his as Mike mentioned in the interview we did with him, there was a version of Jon Sable Freelance on TV in 1987 that was called Sable. And two of the notable people that appeared in it are Renee Russo, who that was her acting debut, and Lara Flynn Boyle. I think her first acting role was the show's pilot episode. It was not a great show, and it was not well funded, but this time around has been picked up by Second Act Entertainment, with producer Brendan Deenan, who some people might recognize from also writing a Green Arrow story over at DC. And he is also, I don't know if he still is, pretty sure he's still the president over at Scout Comics. Very nice guy. And anyways, they are all signed on to do this, not Scout, Brendan Deenan and Second Act Entertainment. And they're developing a Jon Sable Freelance TV show as a scripted series. And also, for those who don't know, Brendan Deenan has a bunch of IP-based film and TV projects in development with Netflix, Amazon Studios, Paramount, NBC Universal, Warner TV, Lionsgate, Amblin, a bunch of different things. And he also, a while ago, was a former development executive for Scott Rubin Productions and Miramax Dimension Films when that was a thing. So I think that this is great news, and I think that this means that there will be some very cool stuff coming out, and this will see the light of day. Now, for those like us who love artists, Kelley Jones and his phenomenal, creepy work, he is he he has been doing some very cool work on the Batman Brave and the Bold series. I have no idea if he is done with his stuff on there, because they've been using a bunch of different artists to do different things for that series. And he has actually drawn several pages in several different issues. If you are a fan of his, I would definitely, suggest that you check that out and see what all that's about, because it is very cool. He doesn't really like to toot his own horn or anything. So I just happened to come across it when I was looking up everybody else, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's done all these things recently, and that has been out now. And I think there may even be some more issues coming out soon. So if you are a fan of Kelley Jones, keep an eye on that Batman Brave and the Bold series, and look up even the older stuff. Now, in other comic legendy news, Joe Casey, who I'm sure there's a lot of people who remember those episodes. He's a huge Nexus fan, and he's done some incredible comics work. He's done some incredible stuff with helping to do Big Hero 6 and a bunch of other things with the Action Man group. And anyways, he is currently, well, he's probably already finished them all, but he has been writing or finished writing the new Jonny Quest series from Dynamite. And the great thing about Joe Casey is he can be very fresh and new when it comes to pushing some things, and then other things he's just, I want to capture that classic feel and that classic thing. And so that's kind of what he is going for with Jonny Quest. You can read more of his interview at Publishers Weekly. I think they did a couple different interviews with him very recently about the Jonny Quest stuff. And I think I saw that he was, you could see some stuff elsewhere. That, I believe, is the most recent stuff, though, if you want the most recent info. And definitely, I would suggest, if you like Jonny Quest at all, and or you like Joe Casey stuff, it should be a very fun matchup. Now, another person who is involved with comics and also animation and all kinds of stuff, and I just think too is also an extremely good storyteller, is my buddy Jason Brubaker, who a lot of people really enjoyed the interviews we did with him. He has a comic called Phobos, which is sort of like a creepy comedy version of Frankenstein, and it brings some other things in there too, with sort of Dracula and some other aspects. But it's a very fun story. It's actually, you can read it for free on Webtoons. I believe he's publishing the newest stuff for that on his Patreon page. And so if you really want to see that stuff, I would definitely suggest you becoming a patron of his and checking out the things there. If you, like most people, are pretty broke these days, then go to Webtoon and look up Jason Brubaker and look up Phobos, Phobos. It is very funny and silly, and I think you guys will really like it. I liked the first book that he did a couple years ago, and now he is getting back into it and continuing the story, and it's very funny. There's some really cool stuff, and it's I don't know. It's just one of those things that just makes me smile and kind of creeps me out at the same time. Now, one of the other things that I stumbled across for people who are big fans of the different things that Jim Krueger has worked on, which had been mostly pretty freaking phenomenal. I did not realize this, and he did not say it when I was messaging with him, but he actually was part of a really cool, really big thing that is on right now called Hero Quest, HIROQUEST.com. It is a collaboration between him and the music icon. Boy, I'm gonna butcher this name. I know Steve. I always want to say Aoki. Yoki. I don't know how you say it. It's AOKI. He is it's not in my thing, but basically counting nearly 3 billion music streams to his name. Steve Aoki is a true visionary in the entertainment industry, described by Billboard as one of the most in-demand entertainers in the world. Aoki is a two-time Grammy-nominated music producer, artist, fashion designer, entrepreneur, and founder of Dim Mak Records. Holder of a Guinness World Record for the most traveled musician in a single calendar year. He's also graced the covers of magazines like Entrepreneur, Success, Electronic Musician, Adweek, solidifying his status as a groundbreaking artist. He is the initiator and the founder of the Hero Quest series. So apparently this story has all of the fun stuff of facing mutants, robots, zombies, aliens, witches, and more. And I would say if you want to get something that is very unique and special and may actually be worth something, I don't know. But I always think these things are very, when you talk about that, when you talk about someone who has 3 billion music streams, that just adds to just how special this is. I did also want to mention our buddy Austin Janowsky's Divine Retribution Director's Cut campaign that is going on over on Indiegogo. Definitely try to check it out as soon as possible. I know that they're a little bit short. He has some incredible stuff that is in the works right now, as far as what movies and TV goes. As people may remember, that he's also been a newer writer and director. This looks to be very cool. I believe it was the original version was released through Image or something. I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, I would definitely recommend. Definitely check it out over on Indiegogo. One of our more recent guests was Kevin A. Johnson, who does amazing paintings, and he has been really busy. He like Mike Barron, he lives in the Colorado Springs area, He's doing all kinds of live paintings and other things, and also being parts of a bunch of different things. He is going to be in Albuquerque, New Mexico on the 21st and 22nd of July at a guest at their Comic-Con in that area. He is also going to be doing a show at the Broadmoor Gallery in Colorado Springs. So we definitely encourage you to check those out if you're in that area. He is still working on a comic with his brother, Vaughn Coleman, with his Phenomenova comic, which has been huge, and a lot of people have really enjoyed it and been excited about it. And just Vaughn's story, his personal story, is pretty amazing if you take time to watch it. Right now, there are Phenomenova comic campaigns on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Fund My Comic. As I have said in the past, I pretty much would recommend people support creators on fundmycomic.com because they get the most percentage of the money. And Indiegogo and Kickstarter tend to take a good chunk of that. So there's not actually much profit that the creators make on those platforms, unlike Fund My Comic, which really gives you more of a direct connection to the creators. So I definitely would recommend you do that. But if you're more comfortable doing it on a place you've done, if you're more comfortable supporting a campaign on a site that you have used before, like Kickstarter or Indiegogo, definitely use those if you're concerned at all. Anything you do is better than nothing. And our buddy Jonathan Hedrick, I don't remember. The point is, he's a very nice guy. He is a fellow X-ray technician, if I'm remembering this correctly, from the conversation we had. He's done all kinds of stuff in the indie comics market and busts his butt. So definitely recommend you supporting him. His wife is also a phenomenal artist and creator. But he right now has a campaign going on Kickstarter for his Capable series, which is a disabled superhero comic series. And I think they're getting ready to finish up all 6 issues of the story. May even be longer than that. I don't know. But this campaign covers Capable number 1 through 6. Before I go, I did want to say thank you to everyone who has complimented our new theme song. I'm sure there's people who hate it, but apparently there's a lot of people who love it. So we're actually going to be making the full theme song available. I think it's around 3 minutes long, something like that, maybe 2 minutes. But our theme song, The Monarchy, will be on sale on iTunes. And if you don't want to pay for it, you can listen to it on Spotify or YouTube Music or whatever. But it will be released on July 30th. Can't get enough of it. Here it is again.